Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. How are we all doing today? Silence. Getting some thumbs up. Let me just one spotlight need to change. Can't see you all. We got great. Mary's amazing. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'm very excited as we enter day 2 of the AI Influencer Micro School. And I have my old partner in crime come back to join us. Kawa, welcome back. How are you?
Hello, Karen. Thanks. I'm good. It's really good to be back, and I look forward to this micro school. I had a great time at the last month, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to learn a lot here these 2 weeks.
Perfect. Well, you weren't here yesterday,
Yeah.
so I would love to actually call from some of the participants to maybe update you what Roger shared, what we learned yesterday. So, Rosaline, do you want to give Kawa a little bit of an update as to what Roger shared yesterday, what you learned, what was some of your biggest takeaways from Roger?
Okay, so one of my main well, Roger generally talked about what was new, and the main theme seems to be around engagement. So content is important, but it's more important to have conversations when you're operating or you're in terms of social media, because you want to engage people, because people are more interested in intimacy rather than just following. And so there, because of intimacy, not avatars, the AI influencer bot things um, have more time. And so they're likely to create more intimacy because their responses to questions and the information that they put out is generally faster. And they also are able to build followers really quickly. So you can go from, what is it, up to 1 million followers in 6 months or something like that. Anyway, there was something you could do in 6 months. So yeah, that was probably one of my biggest takeaway.
Cool, that's
Of,
one way to
of
put it. Thank you, thank you. Nirel, is there anything you would add to that?
Sorry, I was just getting my dinner. What would I add to that? I'd probably add just about, I think one of the things that came out of our conversation yesterday is about integrity that I didn't mention, and just the importance of integrity. That's what Roger was talking about, integrity, and what integrity really means, which is like structural integrity of a bridge. And I think that, and how can we get integrity worth what we get from our influencer? I don't know, but yes, sorry. That's all I can think of.
I think we might have to have a few people rewatch the recording. So Carl, basically we had Roger join us, and as we start talking about the AI influencer side, obviously the first AI micro school was all around how you use generative AI in your business from ChatGPT. I mean, obviously you were a participant. Last time you were a co-host, a co-facilitator. We looked at how you start to build out avatars, how you build out avatars to either work within your business or in order to work with your clients. And this time it's all about influence. And Roger was able to jump on. He talked to Turing. And they sort of hashed out that actually it's quite possible to use AI to get to 1 million followers within 12 to 18 months. But then if AI was doing it by itself, it could be as little as 3 to 6 months. We talked about how everything's now really community and connection, and how we can use AI in order to build that community and connection, and how we're moving away from content to conversation, away from people just wanting to follow into from influence to actually, you know, feeling like people care. And whilst you or I couldn't talk to a million people, an AI actually could. And that's what we've started designing out with our AI influencers. Yeah, moving from content to conversation are the notes that I've got. We're very lucky today, actually. We've got Dr. Ravi Singh joining us from Miami. He is up at stupid o'clock in the morning in order to be here live with you all. So can we give him a little bit of genius love? I think 3:30 you said you were up, weren't you?
Yeah, yes, 3:30 in the morning. So I have my coffee here, so I'm doing good. So if I need to repeat things, I'll just take a couple more sips and hopefully get rejuvenated. So, but very excited to be here today.
Brilliant, thank you. We're incredibly appreciative of you getting up so early. And I think, you know, you have gotten up early. I think we should just jump into it because you are a very fascinating man. And I really want to hear what you have to share with everybody. So I think without further ado, Ravi, do you want to take the stage?
Sure. Do you want to drive? Do you have my slides? Is that okay?
I can drive. Yep.
Okay,
No
awesome.
problem.
That would be helpful. That'd be great. No, everyone. So nice to meet everyone. I see everyone. Thank you, Carol, for the shout out. You know, this is an exciting topic. Believe it or not, I've been researching this for over 6 years. I have one of the first PhDs in social media and technology in the world. Yes, that is actually a thing. You actually can get a PhD in social media and technology. My father, of course, wanted me to become a medical doctor, and of course, I became a doctor of cat videos. So he was, of course, very, very disappointed. But if you know anything about the Indian culture, we only have like two choices: doctors or engineers. So becoming a doctor of social media does not qualify. But you know, Genius Group is very, very, very exciting. You know, the technology and the things that we're doing here are phenomenal. And so I'm very, very happy to present to you guys today. Today, I want to sort of set the stage that we're going to talk about some of the fundamentals. I know there's some very big concepts, but you know, me becoming from academia and also being a practitioner. In my former life, I ran political campaigns and I ran campaigns all over the world. I became known as sort of the campaign guru. So if you want to follow me on social media, that's where I am. But let's dive into it. I'm going to pause, you know, from slide to slide and talk about concepts. I'm also going to give you guys some personal reflections. I'm going to also give you guys some secrets, some tips that you might not find on the internet. A lot of the things that I talk about are scientifically based. You know, you see sometimes people on Instagram saying, hey, I can do this, et cetera, and stuff like that. And they're probably correct. They know one or two tactics that work on social media, but my approach is more 360 degrees. I sort of look at it from a scientific point of view. I look at where we actually have done, where we've actually had successful case studies, where actually there is formulas behind this. A lot of the approach that we are seeing that is emerging right now with the AI revolution, and because of the social media revolution that has taken place, all of this is affecting influencer marketing. And influencer marketing has been around for a long time. It's been there for, you know, prior to social media. But influencer marketing is the ability to influence, and using social media as the tool to do so. And then AI, to me, is the gasoline that makes it just even accelerate even more. So please feel free to give out shout outs throughout the session. I want to make this as dynamic as possible, but very, very super excited to be here, even though it's 4 a.m. in the morning here in Miami, Florida. And also, before I begin, if you guys ever find yourself on this side of the hemisphere, please give me a shout out. I'm more than happy to grab some Cuban coffee with you. All right, so let's rock and roll. So next slide, please. We basically are amidst something interesting, and as I said, my background, I do have formal training from an academia standpoint. I did get to go to do my PhD at the University of Rockies. I was able to finish my honorary MBA at MIT. I have an MA and MS in social media communication, and also an MA in political science. So that's where my love is. And so going through all this academic stuff, I was like, how, I'm a practitioner. How can all this stuff help me? Because I went back to school in my 40s and I tried to figure out what I actually had to do. So I actually had to write, if you guys understand, in college, you sort of learn, right? Master's degree, you become a master of a subject. When you get a PhD, you are contributing to the pool of knowledge, meaning that you're dropping your new concept that everyone else has to do, and you have to prove it, right? Either a null hypothesis or something valid. So when I got my PhD, I had to choose a topic, and I got that done in a relatively short period of time. And my topic was Donald Trump's tweets. So I analyzed using AI in 2016 all of Donald Trump's tweets, and then automatically went ahead and measured that against engagement. So our earlier participant talked about engagement and the importance of that. Yeah, trust me, Carol, you don't understand. I had to read every single tweet. It was mind-boggling. But you look at this. Look, there is a leader, there's a persona, irregardless of how you feel about Donald Trump. He used Twitter in a way that we have never seen before, right? He bypassed traditional media, he bypassed everything. And this actually gave him access to power, and it gave him access to influence. And so I believe very firmly that AI could actually determine tonality. So my study was using the likes, the shares, the comments, and using those variables to see if what he said on social media actually shifted engagement. And the answer is, yes, it did. So I can say, I like you, but then I can say, I like you, right? The two different I like yous, the words are the same. So when we look at the study of psycholinguistics, I like you is there, but in social media, we cannot understand that. My father sends me an emoji like this, he's saying good morning, but actually this emoji means like he's praying, right? So every culture has used, not misinterpreted, but has used these signals of emojis, URLs, hashtags, mentions, abbreviations in their own combination. And I had hypothesized that there was a correlation between tonality and that of engagement. So not to bore you overly, but you can find my research on twitterism.com, www.twitterism.com. It's the first search engine in the world on tonality. And I was able to create a positive theory. So I was able to get my PhD in record time. I got it under 30 months. And as a result, my theory is basically known as social media voice theory. It showed that sentiment analysis, which we all know about, which sentiment drives the conversation. So when you're on social media, you see positive comments, negative comments, neutral comments. These drive the conversations. Now, what we've heard is that negative comments actually drive higher engagement. But I believe that tonality, like being confident, fearful, analytical, tentative, these tones actually shifted engagement more than sentiment analysis, and that sentiment and tone were separate variables. So that is what I did for a good portion of my life. And so after 8 years, the book is now available on Amazon. So I'll share the link with you guys after the presentation. But that's my formal background. If you guys want to know more about the things that I've studied or do a deeper dive, you can be more than just free to send you my 450-page quantitative study and my research on Donald Trump's tweets. I analyzed, 35,647 of his tweets in my study. So good data sample. All right, so let's rock and roll. Next slide. Thank you. So where do we begin? Let's look at influencer marketing from the sector of marketing, right? Let's see where it's positioning, right? So we have social media marketing here up on the top right. We have marketing in general. We have content marketing. And then, as you know, anyone over the age of 30, 40 remembers PR, media relations, et cetera, right? And like I said, Twitter literally has replaced that section of it. Influencer marketing is somewhere dead center, in my opinion, because what has happened is that literally now, after COVID-19, influencer marketing was the only marketing that actually went up. Every single sector in advertising went down. Every single expenditure went down. But the only one that went up was influencer marketing. And that was primarily because influencer marketing bypasses even social media. Social media, as you know, we have 4 types of advertising. We have paid, shared, earned, and organic. And that we'll do another micro school on that at another time. But paid, shared, earned, and organic is different types of advertising that you can do. Paid, of course, naturally you pay, right? Shared, you're sharing social media content. Earned as well, you're earning that. That's where influencer comes in. And organic is, you know, sometimes you refer to as SEO or populating. What has happened is that influencer marketing did not go ahead and get permission from Facebook, did not get permission to Instagram. All of a sudden, I'm an individual, I can make a post on your behalf and automatically share it with the rest of the world, and you can pay me for it. And the social media companies are going, wait, hold on, we want a percentage of that revenue. We want some of that money. You guys can't do that. So these little verification check marks, they wouldn't give it out to everyone, because once they did so, you would actually increase your influence. So Elon Musk now recently has changed that. A lot of social media companies now have changed that, where you can get verified for a paid fee. And there are about 224 active social networks. So when you think of social network, it's not just Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the major 7. There's more than that. There's, you know, over 214 other social media networks that are engaged, or 217 more that are engaged in different types of engagement. And so what ends up happening is not all of them verify you, not all of them automatically create the same kind of presence. The voice on Facebook is different than the voice on Instagram, right? So naturally, if I post something on LinkedIn, I'm not going to put me in a swimming suit, but on Facebook, I might show me on the beach in a couple of hours when I go down to see the sunrise this morning, right? So I'm not going to post that on LinkedIn, but I'll post it on my Facebook account. So social media has different platforms and different voices on them. And if you look above there, there's a notion of social CRM. I want to just briefly talk about that. That's really hot. When we have people joining us, right, they become our followers. But what we've seen now is that they become fans. So you see with Taylor Swift now has her Swifties. Those are followers turning into fans. And those fans now are reciprocating either with more content or even some kind of compensation. So you can actually become a paid member of these systems. And so social CRMs now are harnessing that data of the followers. We now know the name of your follower, their identity, their social media handles, their cell phone numbers, their emails. And this way, brands and businesses are able to target them much more effectively. Just imagine if you could take all the followers from your business accounts and automatically just target them. Naturally, you would eventually create what they call social selling. That's why Instagram is so hot. That's why they're making $1 million people on Instagram, just social selling. And people are realizing that they don't need to go to Amazon. They don't need to go to Etsy. They don't need to go to any other site. They can just sell their product just through social media. All right, so next is that we have a interesting shift that's happening in society. And that shift, next slide, please. Thank you. Is that we have an evolution of influencer marketing. And let's talk about it from the beginning. So what we see here happening is, the next slide, please, is that we see at the influencer marketing immediately emerging. Some of the pioneers from the 18th century, you know, like Wedgwood used royal endorsements to produce, you know, to promote the pottery of the Queensware, leveraging the influence of Queen Charlotte. So influencer marketing has nothing to do with social media. It has been around for a long time. It has been utilized as a place of endorsements. You know, I was just in India, and they use celebrity endorsements automatically from Bollywood to automatically promote the brand. We've seen those kind of credibilities. You know, we used to see, you know, when, especially in the United States, we used to see, you know, war heroes coming in there and supporting certain products, et cetera, and stuff like that. So this is all forms of influencer marketing. Athletes do it, right? We see this with like Wheaties and the cereal here in the US and other products as well. So using celebrities, using what we call mega influencers to support, this has always been around as a basic form of influencer marketing. Next. We also see the second phase is that we have the influencer, or what we call fictional characters, right? And these fictional characters are like the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, or the Quaker Oats, or the Little Mickey, influencing consumer decisions, right? You always see I don't know if you ever watched the Coca-Cola commercials, you have the polar bear, and you have the Santa Claus, and everyone looking forward to seeing those and they're fictional characters, right? but those are also doing a form of influencer marketing, and they also do it. And then we also have figures that are actually branded with the brand, and they're also basically influencer marketing. And now you can see where Roger's comments with the use of AI, why this is still fundamentally there. Nothing has changed. AI, like I said, is the gasoline to the revolution, right? It just accelerates everything. And so everyone else has looked at AI, it's complicated. It's not complicated, it's just gasoline. It's a revolution that's happening because it's what we call a general purpose technology. Next. Phase 3 is basically the celebrity endorsements that I talked about, right? And those are replacing the fictional characters that evolved. And we saw them basically swaying commercials, right? We see Muhammad Ali endorsing a product, or we see Michael Jordan supporting Nike, or we see any of these others that automatically do it. And where sports figures are doing, we see Olympians now, we have the Olympics coming up in Paris, but we see Olympics now automatically supporting and getting endorsements for products. These help drive consumer purchases. They are also a way of influencing, right? This is prior to social media. This has always been there in influencer marketing. It's just never been, as people have seen the evolution, people just don't understand the context in which it is actually taking place. Next. We also see what's called now the rise of social media influencing. And now so the celebrities, we saw now a shift. And so, influencer marketing on social media took place after 2006. We saw the rise of MySpace and Orchid.com and these early founder things, but there wasn't that form of endorsement. These social media platforms just wanted to make money through advertising. So now what we're seeing is they're actually influencers now can go create an account, right? Use the followers that they have and say, hey, listen, I have these many people, so you should let me talk about this product or this niche. And then we see categories: lifestyle influencer, athlete, fashion, beauty, etc. I just got approached by a Korean beauty brand that has asked me to help them develop an influencer marketing program. And they want, because they cannot get into the main department stores here, and they've done quite well in Korea, they're using basically influencer marketing. And influencer marketing now is the third #1 way in the United States to actually influence and sell your product. So if you're not using influencer marketing, you're sort of dead in the water. And so this has become the way to actually do this, because Gen Z as a whole now actually looks at social media content as more valuable than a TV ad or radio ad. As you know, most kids under the age of 25 all believe that they can monetize making money through social media, and they are correct. 1 out of 4 will monetize some of their social media to actually sell it as a promotion or etc. So there is a belief, just similar to millennials doing Uber and Lyft as a side hustle. Gen Z now is shifting and using actually influencer marketing as a side hustle to make money. But it's funny, Gen Z will never actually do Uber and Lyft, but the millennials will. So it's interesting, as technology has shifted, these side hustles are doing supplemental and complementary income. Phase 4. So as the evolution of influencer marketing take place, we are now seeing, and this is what's happening right now, this is exactly it. And all of you guys who are on the Microschool, you guys are learning like the most cutting edge stuff. This is why I love Roger. I mean, he's always ahead of the game. And he always sees, he sees the world as it's going to be rather than, just as it is. And one of the most amazing things is that we are seeing a rise where now people are not going to celebrities, right? They're not just using social media, but anyone who is just on social media has a presence of about 10,000. Their engagement is more real than a celebrity. So you will see engagement numbers of 40, 50% on smaller influencers. And now you look at that, that's what they call micro influencers or even nano influencers. And these micro influencers are basically smaller followings that can offer a higher engagement and niche targeting. So like, for example, at MIT, when we were there, they would always tell us, don't go after all the markets. Yes, your product can sell all over the world, but find a beachhead market. Find some place where you can dominate and then saturate. Once you've proven that, then you can scale, or you can take it to investors and say, listen, I've done it here, I can scale it out somewhere else. So here in Miami, you know, of course we have beaches, but you know, using that analogy, we have Beachhead Market, and we just focus here in Miami, and then you can sell your product. So a local pizzeria place is selling a product and their pizza place. How do they go ahead and convert that content into automatically driving influencers to buy more pizzas? So they don't need Kim Kardashian to promote their pizza. They need the person who's coming in the store, eating the pizza, and maybe some local kids who are automatically sharing it with their football team or their high school team, or et cetera, and saying, this is the best place to hang out and have pizza. Or maybe some kind of membership club or a Kiwanis club or Rotary club or whatever. And they also have a following, or some church group or some organization or chamber of commerce, and they have a group. So it's really those that have niches, or maybe a yoga center or et cetera. But whatever it is, I don't know if yoga people would be eating pizza, but either way, they're having a group of micro influencers that can influence that niche audience and definitely drive more engagement on that smaller brand, etc. Now, major brands like Sephora, Lord & Taylor, these others actually have done this, and they have found more success with micro influencers than major celebrities. Now, when we looked at the phase 6, yes, please, the evolution of influencer marketing, we now look at what we call the regulation and professionalization. This is where I have spent the last 6 years of my life, because what has happened is that as influencer marketing has grown, regulations like the mommy blogger law were introduced to ensure transparency and authenticity. What does this mean? It means you can't play to pay. I mean, you can't pay to play or play to pay. And what that means is that there's an old law called payola. And I don't know if how many of you guys, anyone here, anyone can give me a shout out? Have they heard of payola before? Anyone? All right. So payola comes from the music industry, right? So I don't know if you guys remember James Brown, the king of funk, you know, so automatically he would give out free tickets to the DJs so that he could play his records more and more. So when the DJs played the records more, he would give them the tickets. Now those tickets were valuable. So what the DJs would do is they would sell the tickets and keep the money. And so that was called pay to play, and that's called payola. And that's wrong. And so the governments now, including the United States and recently now France and even in India, have all had said, listen, very simply put, you cannot go ahead and promote something on social media without disclosing that you're getting compensated for it. So now on Instagram, you'll see something called sponsored ads, or you'll say sponsored, right? Or sometimes Instagram will say, are you doing this for business purposes? Or are you getting paid to actually promote this content? So just because I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt doesn't mean I'm necessarily getting paid by, you know, Star Wars, the movie, you know, the movie industry, right? But if I was, then I would have to indicate that I did get compensated. And maybe I got a free ticket to the next Star Wars premiere or whatever, but I had to even disclose, even if it's monetary, even if it's a giveaway, even if it's swag or stuff or etc. So this becomes a problem, because this is what we call in the technology world reg tech, or regulation technology. And the question is, where does an influencer, right, disclose this information? And if I'm posting in Brazil as a travel blogger, in order to be compliant with the Brazilian government, I have to post something in Portuguese. Now, how in the world am I supposed to know that? And if I'm in the United States, I have to use these symbols, or if I'm in India, I have to use these symbols. So no one knows what's going on. It's relatively young. These laws by the FTC, Federal Trade Commission in the United States, have been implemented by the Biden administration. And in 2019, they have now skyrocketed, where they fined like Kim Kardashian $1.3 million for posting without disclosing. The FTX scandal with crypto, a lot of people got paid for crypto where they posted on social media and they didn't disclose. So in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, certain parts, this is relatively new. And what we've seen is a manipulation of these evolution, where automatically people are using promotion to promote and boost a stock or promote, etc. And these are wrong. This is illegal. These are not the right tactics. But influencer marketing has such a profound impact that people are deploying these tactics to definitely drive traffic and awareness and call to actions. All right, next, please. So the last phase of influencer marketing that we're seeing, and this is where we're heading, right? This is the future, and this is why these micro schools and what Genius Group is all about is like cutting edge, right? This is the rise of AI and virtual influencers. The future of influencer marketing includes the integration of AI and these emergence of these virtual influencers, further expanding the possibilities. Now, I, like many people, have struggled with the fact that if you have someone who's fake talking about it, but they don't disclose that they're fake, now you see this pretty girl and all of a sudden you realize she doesn't even exist. I mean, it's just an AI. And this AI influencer would be getting, brand endorsement deals to promote content or etc. So sometimes when they don't disclose it, like we're talking in phase 6, this becomes problematic. But AI by nature tends to be a lot more effective than human beings. And we are now starting to see academic studies showing that AI responses on social media actually increase greater influence than actually a human being, because they know what to say, how to say it, they know what to do, and it's much more timely. And the images and the content, the GIF, the memes, the audios, the text, all match the look and feel of the brand that they're promoting. So this is an interesting evolution. I personally believe I predict that this will stick around, but I also predict that there will be regulations on AI avatars and influencer marketing, and they, just like anything else, will have to disclose that they're not human. Next. So we're going to pause there about the evolution of influencer marketing, and then we're going to dive into artificial intelligence. But I want to go ahead and take a sip of coffee real quick and take a breather. So anyone have any questions about that? Did everyone enjoy that? Any emojis? I could get some love here at 4:30 in the morning. I'd appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Carol. Very good. Excellent. Good. So I hope you guys understood where we've come. I hope that you just haven't looked at influencer marketing as just social media. It is not. It's been around for a long time. Thank you, Rosalind. And I think we've also seen an evolution with AI, and this as a game changer. And Elena, appreciate that, because I'll tell you, one of the things that is very fascinating to me is that if you look at this, we're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, these are still fundamental concepts of marketing, but you have to understand how technology actually evolves, right? So Jan, appreciate that. I think one of the key components that we've seen with evolution aspects of this is that we can't tell us where we're going until we know where we've been, right? And so I'm a big believer in understanding so that we can go ahead and build upon past successes and move forward. So the next phase is talking about artificial intelligence. Let's talk a little bit about that and what we're seeing with the AI revolution. Thank you, Clara. All right, next slide, please. So artificial intelligence, as you know, when it comes to influencer marketing, is very, very good at creating content creation. Now, content creation is in different forms. Content, to me, is the bullet that you fire through social media platforms. So I look at social media platforms. I look at Twitter like it's the AK-47. I look at Facebook as the bazooka. I look at like YouTube, automatically as the tank, right? So what happens is that when we put content in these platforms, we're able to hit our audience, and that content is like a bullet. And so when we use good content, it is better than creating social media noise. Don't create social media noise. You have to let content sort of marinate. You have to let it sit there. You have to let it saturate. You have to make it like it has to age like a good wine. You have to watch those engagement numbers. If you just keep on posting content over and over again, you're just creating social media noise. And so what happens is content creation using AI helps us create posts that are much more effective. And it also can generate, like, for example, a catchy slogan or give you recommendations based on existing knowledge. Now, AI cannot necessarily think for you, but it can think on existing knowledge. So what happens is that, like I told you, my background is as a PhD. My goal as a doctoral in social media is to contribute to the pool of knowledge. but the AI will not contribute. The AI automatically takes existing knowledge and puts it together and spits out an answer. So what happens is a lot of people believe that AI will eventually come into a smarter form and eventually think on itself. People hypothesize all kinds of components. There is that predictive analysis that can come. We're not going to talk about that. That can be for another micro school. But the bottom line is that AI is constantly taking existing knowledge as it is, right? In ChatGPT, whatever ChatGPT-4, and automatically saying, okay, how do we take all this information and spit out an answer? And so what happens when you're trying to generate content and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to do, you can go ahead into Copilot, right? Automatically, which is the AI system for like Microsoft, and you can download it for free, go to Copilot and give you a quick, I promise you some tricks and tips and tactics. So I'm going to give you one of those right now. And you can go to Copilot, download that, and automatically, for free, say, give me 10 social media posts about my business, www.blah-blah-blah.com. And I want you to write these social media posts with the proper hashtags, and I want you to write them with the ones that will help create the most engagement. If you write that command into the AI in Copilot will give you 10 posts right away. And it'll give you the 10 most effective posts by this. And the same thing can happen on any topic, on any URL, and any combination. So you can apply this tactic to multiple ways to generate all kinds of content. I will tell you that, thank you, Mary. So Mary's provided the Copilot link in there for Microsoft. I am a Microsoft junkie. I actually, one of my other technologies, I did a deal with Steve Ballmer, and I love Microsoft because Microsoft is implemented in almost every country. But, you know, a lot of people don't understand that Microsoft technology as a whole, right, and especially with their AI systems, basically are feeding on so much of the data that they've collected, right? So the ones that have all of this intelligence will automatically be able to spit out the best answers. So just imagine, you can write tweets for every single day of the year just using Copilot. It's amazing. All right. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's just great because, you know, you would pay a content writer, and those posts, I have tested those come out actually with better engagement than me automatically do it. I mean, just telling you right now, you could even run a business just doing this tactic alone. So definitely, if anything from this micro school, this is one that I guarantee you will pay off in dividends. All right, next one. All right, so when we look at artificial intelligence, I told you guys something about sentiment analysis. I don't know how many of you guys know about sentiment analysis, but this is called natural language processing, or what we call NLP models. And they basically categorize the emotions of a text, right? So if I write something in a text, how does I can get emotion out of it? Now, in my study, like I told you, I studied tone, and I believe that tone was different than sentiment analysis. And until my study in publication in 2019, tone and sentiment were considered the same variable. They were commingled. There was no statistical significance. So in order to prove something new, you have to have what they call statistical confidence. So I was able to mathematically prove to a 95% statistical confidence that tone was actually a variable of its own, and it actually shifted engagement. So when we look at this NLP aspects, we're looking at natural language processing that will actually determine the overall sentiment. So in your heads, you should think about it. When I write social media content, which one is positive, which one is negative, which one is neutral, which way does it take me? Next. The other thing that we've seen with AI is predictive analytics. This is the data mining and the pattern recognition of algorithms. Now, what we're also seeing is that AI can help me predict, and we can actually see what happens. So it can forecast future actions. And like I said, this is really where the gold is in AI. And, you know, for anyone, you know, another tip and trick, you know, when you look at things with AI that's going on, AI companies are going to do phenomenal. Companies like Genius and others are going to always do well. And the reason why is because, like I said, it's a general purpose technology. And when you apply AI to education, to sports, to any vertical, right? It's just going to accelerate automatically by leaps and bounds. And like I said, it's the gasoline that will actually help us drive more engagement. So more AI will naturally drive more engagement. Next. So as we are evolving, we are also seeing AI serve as a chat box. We've seen actually it serve as a customer service. This has become one of the very first entries into the market where automatically they're tracking orders, they're responding to things, and etc. Now, my parents hate this, right? They don't like the AI bots. They don't like the AI automations that are happening with like United Airlines, or when they're talking to the airlines places, and they're always pressing 0 saying we want to talk to a live operator. This is a generational gap because Gen Z prefers to only interact with a bot or a chat over a human being. So it's completely going to be eventually the norm. And so what happens is that, as you know, when Visa and MasterCard came out, and when automatically people started using debit cards and didn't want to do like e-commerce online and put their credit card information online. I mean, some of you guys might remember those days, right? Saying, oh, it's going to be unsafe, unsecure, right? Now we're freaking throwing it down every single time, throwing our credit card information online. And we don't even think about the security aspect all the time, right? We just know it's going to be safe. But that is exactly what's happening right now with the AI revolution. A lot of people think that, oh, this is the chat boxes are automatically just, they're not going to be able to answer. They will answer, but you will also see that there is some problematic stuff, right? They don't necessarily answer the questions all the time correctly, and etc. But this technology, like everything else, will evolve. And as they get faster and faster, they will get smarter and smarter. Next. So where we're seeing a big change in AI is also ad management. When it comes to social media, like bidding strategies and real-time placements of ads, the AI systems are actually showing reallocation of performance. You see a lot of people on Google now, or sorry, on social media now saying, hey, listen, I can place your ads for you. I will tell you what they're doing. They're not placing the ads for you. What they're doing is using AI, and then AI is figuring out how to place their ads for them. So these people who are creating agencies are using the AI to figure out what is the best strategies to automatically go ahead and deploy this. Now, keep in mind that a strategy and a tactic are different things. The strategy is ad placement, but the tactic in itself will be actually placing the ad for a specific campaign, product, or service. So whether that be on Google, whether it be a mobile ad, whether it be done for a laptop ad or a desktop ad, or even for a tablet ad, those are all different types of tactics that will be done in terms of advertising. So what we're seeing is that we're seeing a lot of these tactics being generated by AI and then having to be placed by humans that automatically do it. Now, what's eventually happening is some of these platforms themselves are changing, right? So if anyone of you guys use Canva, Canva automatically will go ahead and do social media posting and design for you. Now they incorporated AI. You'll start seeing in search engine, you'll see in WhatsApp, Facebook now has added an AI to help you find information within your WhatsApp. So AI is being automatically applied to these platforms, but it is sometimes not as optimized as using AI separately. So it would be my advice right now to use AI tools separately and not necessarily those that are co-mingled within a platform, because they're just evolving. Next. So I'm going to pause there. I hope that was helpful about AI. Any love on that one? I hope did everyone get some good information? Andrew, Carol, Chris, Clara, Elena. All right. Georgie, Jan, Karen. Okay. Marcus. Good. Mike. All right. Good. So I hope everyone enjoyed that about AI. And now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about influencer marketing, and we're going to jump into that. And then we'll definitely take some Q&A and questions towards the end if we have time. All right. So when we talk about now, yes, please. Next slide. When we look at influencer marketing and how all of this fits in together, what does influencer marketing provide us? Well, first of all, influencer marketing fundamentally, number one, when you use influencer marketing for your brand or if you yourself are an influencer. So you guys watch my hands real quickly. You have a brand over here, you have an influencer over here, and you actually have a follower over here, right? So when you actually have the brand, the influencer, and the follower, there is a feedback loop. The brand contacts the influencer makes a post to the follower automatically comes back and engages with the brand. So the influencer is generating the content right here. So the influencer is engaging with the followers, hoping that the follower will engage back with the brand through the influencer's account. So when you look at influencer, I think it's basically creating the brand awareness for a brand. So for example, it's like a beauty brand might popular with a popular like makeup artist. And so like I was telling you, I got contacted just recently about, I can't disclose it yet, but this new Korean brand that's being launched. And my friend is promoting it in Texas. And true story, I was just there about a month ago, and she does real estate. And my friend, he called me up and he said, Robbie, my wife is going to leave real estate and just promote influencer content for this beauty brand. I'm like, no. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, everything you said 4 years is actually happening now, because we're making about 20,000 in residual income just promoting that brand. And there, the brand is not paying her. They're giving her an affiliate link, and she's using her social media platform to engage with it through her friends and family members and her network in the real estate community. And she's been able to generate over 20,000 per month in residual income just from that one affiliate link, more than she does in real estate. So you can imagine how powerful this is. And this is a mother of 3 who's not social media savvy, hasn't done much social media posts, doesn't have any of those fancy dancy, videos online, but someone who automatically has just basically talked about a product, talked about being real, and etc. I do believe very firmly, and if you guys see any of my other courses, and maybe we can talk about this later on about brand personas and etc., but I do believe that the more authentic you are, the more real you are on social media and content, the more you'll actually get better engagement. So this is very, very, very key. All right. So next slide, please. When we look at influencer marketing, the second thing that influencer marketing does is build trust and credibility. Why? Because like I said, Gen Z tends to gravitate and listen to influencers more than anyone else. But in general, influencers also take loyal followers and then turn them into fans, right? And a basic example of this is like, for example, a fitness influencer, right? Who's taking a health supplement and leveraging it to credibility, saying, hey, listen, I took this supplement, I lost weight, or I became better, etc. Now, remember what I said earlier, if they don't disclose that they're getting compensated for it, that's wrong. But if I'm just promoting this product, just by myself, that's a whole other story. I'm just going to do something really cheesy here, but I have Tiger Balm here, and I love Tiger Balm, and so I believe that Tiger Balm is really great, and it's better than any other ointment in the world. And one of the things that I love about Tiger Balm is that I'm sometimes a little claustrophobic when it comes to planes, so I just put a little bit underneath my nose and helps me relax. And when I go to sleep, I just run it behind my ears, and it makes me feel good. And something about Tiger Balm, it being so ancient and old, is very cool. But, I encourage people to buy Tiger Balm because Tiger Balm is a great product, and you can get it for less than $5. Okay, so I just did a promotion for Tiger Balm. I'm not getting paid by Tiger Balm, right, etc. But thank you very much, Dan, appreciate it. So I just gave a pitch for Tiger Balm. I do like Tiger Balm. I think it's a great product. Now, if Tiger Balm gave me an affiliate link and I just did that video and automatically put up there, and I have 100,000 followers on social media, I have 14,000 on Twitter, how many of you think of those people would actually buy the Tiger Balm? Right? So, 100, 50, 10, I would say maybe at least 2 or 3 people would buy it, right, through that link. And that would be money. So thank you. So, but Tiger Balm is a good product. So I think this is one of your best ways to be able to monetize, is that building that trust and credibility. And you don't necessarily have to get paid by the brand. You can automatically take their existing affiliate links and convert it automatically into additional income. Next. All right. So the third component is enhancing your content strategy. When we do influencer marketing, like I told you, content is king. There's no doubt about it. But when we do content, we also need to make sure that it resonates with the audience, right? I do a lot in politics. I do a lot in campaigns. I do a lot in digital marketing. So I don't know if promoting Tiger Mom will really resonate with my audience. But either way, you have to understand that your audience is very key. So when you find influencers, or you do hire influencers, or you become an influencer for a specific brand, you have to have a niche. You can't just say, I do everything because I have a lot of followers. And so it has to align with both the brand and the influencer, because remember, the followers over here, and we want that follower to become a fan. So this has become the new concept, that automatically I follow you on social media, but I will not only become a fan until I engage with you through a product. So this is a different thing. Now, as an influencer, like I said, I can take the affiliate link, but I can also become what they call a brand ambassador for that product. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But enhancing the content strategy overall provides you a fresh and authentic content that has to resonate with the audience. And so influencers are constantly looking for it. I was in Dubai. Dubai has become the #1 destination for influencers. I was working for the royal family out there and setting up what they call influencer zones. So you could actually go to the place, take a picture. You see those like little areas of like the grass and the hashtag in the back. So I was building those, what we call influencer zones, so that people would automatically generate fresh content when they went to the Dubai Mall, or when they went to a Dubai attraction, or when they went to something that was, like part of the sightseeing aspects of tourism aspects of Dubai. And they didn't have necessarily all these zones. So I was suggesting to businesses how to build those zones, what the elements were necessary. But influencers were going there, not getting paid by the brands, taking pictures behind Louis Vuitton, Gucci, et cetera, all the major brands, because they want to show that they are related to that content with their audience, so that they gravitate towards them. Next. So when we look at influencer marketing, one of the other aspects that it does, and we saw this after COVID-19, like I mentioned in my earlier comments, was that it provided targeted advertising. And when we talk about targeted advertising, just like a bullseye, you're hitting the target. It's like precise targeting. And it allows basically a follower to match with the brand's ideal profile, right? So if I'm drinking Coca-Cola, kind of deal, what is the persona of Coca-Cola? What is it attracting, right? How am I attracted to it? And a perfect example is like basically like a travel brand working with a travel blogger automatically. So tomorrow I'm actually meeting with a travel blogger here in Miami. And she's telling me, she goes, Dr. Ravi, she's like, we can get you, free tickets on different airlines. You just have to go on the airlines, take content, talk about it, and help us with our influencer marketing programs, and we'll give you free tickets. So I'm just going, okay, great, this is fantastic. I'm gonna free airplane tickets all around. Exactly, Kara, I'm sold too. So the thing is that when you start understanding that it's just not compensation for financial compensation, but compensation can be done in different forms of like either swag or some other kind of coupon or discount or some kind of freebie. This is what we call in the science of influencing reciprocity. Reciprocity is a fundamental component that helps us target our audience. Reciprocity can only work if you are successfully targeting the actual influencer that matches with the brand's follower. So you're the influencer. Again, your objective is to turn your follower for the brand, not to turn that follower to come back to you so that you can get more followers. Absolutely not. The follower has to engage with the brand. If you don't do that, it does not produce an ROE. An ROE is a return on engagement, not a return on investment. Return on investment is basically I put $10 in and I should get something out. The average return on investment in influencer marketing in the United States is now 7 to 1. So every $1 I spend in influencer marketing, I'm going to get $7 out. I will tell you 5 years ago, that was about $2 or $3. So you can imagine where this is going. And any of you guys who are financial junkies, the market in influencer marketing is growing at such a rapid rate that the CAGR there is over 30%. And we're seeing a market size go from almost 8 billion now to over $30 billion. And I predict very clearly, you can mark my words for it, within the next 5 years, this industry will be over $100 billion easily. Next. So when you look at this aspect of influencer marketing, you can go ahead and create a CTA. A CTA is a call to action. And a CTA in this case is driving sales or conversions. Learn more automatically. I just launched my dissertation book, my first of 3 books that I've done on Donald Trump's tweets. It finally got put on Amazon. Unfortunately, I had to go to India to get on Amazon in India to get it actually published. That's a whole other story. But that book is now available. So my team is automatically promoting that book, driving CTAs, telling people to buy the book, automatically go to Amazon. Now, we're not promoting the print version of the book. We're promoting the Kindle version of the book because it's less than $1.25 or $1.50. Why? Because we know that automatically there are a lot of people who are interested in Trump and tweets, and we know that Kindle and ebooks do better. So we are trying to drive CTAs to automatically do that. So we are hiring influencers and people who talk about books and do reviews on books, and we've asked them to automatically promote that. Now, there are people who get commission from Amazon through Amazon's affiliate link. Anyone can automatically do this. Another tip and trick is that you can sign up for Amazon's affiliate program and you can sell anyone's products on Amazon and earn a commission. So you can be the ultimate influencer and promote any product. You can find a bag that is a name brand bag and say, I'm promoting this, and automatically then just drive it back to the Amazon affiliate link. And there are different ways that you can do that by adding it strictly to your bio section, your Instagram, or putting the actual link inside or embedded into the Pinterest or automatically to the Facebook post. But can you imagine that you basically have that capability? So even on my book, you can actually earn commissions by just promoting that. So automatically being able to track and boost your sales is a very strong capability of influencer marketing as you move forward. Next. So the last topic is social media and the aspect in business growth. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to speed it up. But how did we do on that, you guys? Was that helpful? Was that entertaining? Okay, good. Very, very good. All right. So let's now talk about social media and business growth, and let's go from this. Now, this is very, I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly because this is some fundamentals, and I think most of you guys know this, but I definitely want to cover it because I think it'll clarify some things from an academic standpoint and also from a practical standpoint. I'll cut down on some of the examples on these next slides. Next slide, please. Okay, great. So social media and business growth, 1, social media helps us do the brand building, right? So when we are actually on social media, changing the profile picture, keeping that consistent actually is more powerful than changing the profile picture. Example, Donald Trump. It's the same photo that he's used as a business tycoon as he used in the political campaign, and then eventually he used as president of the United States. His profile picture never changed. It's same consistency. And we are finding out that the business profile picture, that logo, that image is more valuable. If you have an account, using a human being in the profile picture is more valuable than just putting the brand in there. We've also found that out. Studies do show that. So Nike uses its social media presence to reinforce its brand image as an innovator and motivator in sports, right? They're not saying buy my stuff. They're basically promoting Nike itself. And Nike has different social media accounts. In fact, I use this example because they have over 700 social media accounts. Even Michael Jordan has his own Nike line of social media accounts. So different strokes for different folks on social media is definitely the way to go. Next. When we look at social media and business growth, customer engagement, right? One of the key things here is direct interaction with the customers, fostering a sense of community and loyalty. So when we look at Starbucks engages with customers on Twitter, offering responses directly to customer feedback. So if you want to complain, people go to Twitter to complain. If you want to complain about airlines, you go on Twitter. If you want to tell about a natural catastrophe, you go on Twitter. You won't go on Facebook. You won't go on Instagram, because Twitter is sort of the pulse of social media. But so what they've realized is that for customer service, people tend to go to Twitter, and a lot of departments, including Starbucks, wants feedback on Twitter because it's public, it's transparent, and they're able to address the issues in a public forum. Next. Social media also, like I mentioned, just like influencer marketing, does targeted marketing. But here in social media, I'm going to give you another tip. You can go ahead and take the influencers, and if they do a post for you, you can run that as an ad among other followers. So when you do a post, it's just temporary. But a tactic that you can do is then take that post and then run it as an ad against all their followers. So all their followers are seeing it all the time, more and more. So this will give you greater exposure. You can also run it against your own followers additionally, because sometimes it just shows up in the feed temporarily and then it's gone, right? No one's going to see what that influencer that you paid for 30 days ago, what he or she was saying. So this is a great example, like for a small boutique might use Facebook targeted ads to reach fashion enthusiasts. So what happens is that you have a small store, you can geo-target. If you have an expo show going on, you can target around the expo show. Like for example, in Dubai, I targeted around the airport so that people, when they got off the airport, the first thing that they were seeing were those specific ads for those hotels or those things that we wanted them to see for tourist attractions. So I was even able to target down to a specific regions of the airport where I could run certain ads on based upon which country they were actually coming in from. Amazing, right? So you can get down to that kind of detail level when you do targeted ads on social media. The other thing is that, look at this. Once someone gives you an email and phone number, you can also append that data to social media content. Next. So the other aspect, this is where influencer marketing comes in social media, influencer partnerships, collaborating with influencers to promote your brand message. This is very, very fundamental because, like I said, this has now become the third way to do marketing in the United States, and it's only going to continue to grow. In the United States, we call them influencers. In Asia, they call them KOLs. Key opinion leaders, and then they use those type of people to actually influence products. You might even see the YouTube video where one Chinese girl is automatically an influencer, and she can she makes commission for just posting and selling live streams of what she's selling. So she doesn't make a post; she does live streaming of whatever she's selling, and whatever she sells during that period of time, the brand is giving her about 50%. So you can imagine the crazy amount of sales that she generates for the brand and also the commission that she's earning. Next. Social media and business growth. One of the other aspects is driving traffic and conversions. Now, we've seen a rise with Airbnb, kind of be with Instagram, showcasing properties. But right now, the best way to do that and et cetera is to drive traffic automatically to that property that you want to promote, right? So you can promote that on your own social media handles and your own social media content. That's why social selling has become very, very important. In fact, now you can create your own Google store, your own Instagram store. You can also create your own Facebook store. So just having a Shopify presence is not there. You also have to have social media commerce stores, because buying within the platforms are actually more rewarding than them buying directly from your own platform. Next. And last but not least is market insights. So businesses can get real-time insights on market trends. An example of this would be like what we call social listening. Just going ahead and posting is great, but Netflix has done a phenomenal job. There's a great case study for it where they basically actually just listened, and because they listened to their audience, they were able to generate content that resonated better with their audience. So to me, this is exactly what Donald Trump did. He did not just tweet and just keep on the act. He actually read the tweets, responded to tweets. He actually engaged with tweets himself. And by doing so, he understood the pulse of the conversations, and his content became more and more valuable and stronger as he grew. And so this is not my opinion. This is based on scientific evidence, right? This was clearly each of his contacts actually increased engagement. And despite what anyone said, there weren't bots, there weren't fake accounts. He actually did because his content get better. But that's because he did social listening. So doing social listening is very key. You can do social listening by measuring a hashtag or following someone with a mention with the amber sign, the @ sign. So that is very, very crucial as you do it. So you can follow, like, for example, I'm going to Formula One next week in Budapest. So I love Formula One very much. So I'll be out in Europe. And when I'm out there, I follow the hashtag Formula One. So I know what's going on. I know what people are talking about. I can read other people's posts without trying to follow them necessarily on social media. So I just put in the hashtag F1 and automatically I get content on Formula One. Next. Oh, one last one. As we mentioned, like Starbucks used Twitter. So using social media to create as a customer service. This is a great example. The best case study when I was at Harvard, Zappos was using social media to address customer service quickly and effectively. So this was a very, very effective way, better than using a chat box, or better to use than a form. They used social media and people just automatically were able to engage, and they had someone just automatically be able to respond directly to customer support issues. Next. One more, content virality. This is very, very important. The potential content of viral on social media leads to brand exposure. So what does that mean? It means that when we do contests, when we do challenges, when we do top trends, when we follow these things, we actually can generate more kind of things. So I'll give you another tip real quickly. When you have a holiday, or you have like Dog Appreciation Day, or you have Secretary Appreciation Day, if you use those hashtags in your post, you will get a significant amount of new followers. Absolutely. Studies have clearly shown that if you do top trended hashtags along with your post every day, irregardless of wherever the content of the post, you will get new adoption. All right, so next slide. We have talking about SEO benefits. We have that too as well. I forgot how much content I hear. I know I'm running out of time here. How are we doing on time? Are we okay, you guys? Can I steal another 5 or 6 minutes?
You have lots of time, Ravi.
Okay. Do I have
like
lots of time?
you can seriously go for another half hour if you want. I mean, I think you got a lot to share and everyone's really loving it. So yeah, you've got up to half an hour.
All right, good. All right, so let me just tell you about SEO benefits. So remember I told you guys in the beginning that when you do advertising, there's paid, shared, earned, and organic. You can Google this, but like I said, maybe we'll do another Microschool on this, because this type of advertising is important. So when you look at back in a frame here, SEO, everyone talks about search engine optimization, but you have to understand search engine optimization is basically the search engine, right, helping you find information, right, on a specific content so that people can actually click on the link and engage with it, right? So the #1 search engine in the world is, anyone guess? Anyone? It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyone? Google? Nope. Anyone? YouTube. YouTube is the #1 search engine in the world. So if your content is not on YouTube, yeah, YouTube, I like to call it as Professor YouTube, but YouTube to me is the game changer. YouTube was actually created, if you know the history of YouTube, was actually created by some ex-Google employees that left Google, and then Google basically funded them and then basically acquired them later on. That's a whole nother story. But really interesting is that YouTube search engine is so strong that YouTube actually dominates all other search engines. And if you're not on YouTube, then automatically, and you're not posting videos on YouTube, you're missing out on huge SEO. So that's a big tip. So anything that you do in terms of content, I highly encourage you to convert it into a video, highly encourage you to convert your podcast into a video, highly encourage you to do promotional stuff into video. And there's so many great AI video applications that you can do that. And of course, that could be another Microschool on that as well. But I'm going to give you an example. Is HubSpot actually use social media content strategy to boost their search engine results. So what they did was, you'll see sometimes in the search engine, you'll see like your Twitter handle or your post on Instagram get actually embedded in the Google feed. So you can actually optimize your social media content to actually show up in Google if they know what they're doing. So I would highly recommend that. There is a tool, and if you guys contact me directly, I will show you the back end supplier. You guys can reach me out at Ravi at geniusgroup.net. That's my email. And what I can do is there's actually a tool that creates a social media wall and automatically aggregates what we call user-generated content. And user-generated content is not influencer content. That means that I just come to your restaurant, I take a picture, and automatically I can use that content and display it on my wall or automatically on my search engine. And this, I've seen this tactic being deployed now in India. It's a game changer. It hasn't really taken off in Europe and the United States, but I believe user, or what they call UGC content, will change actually e-commerce sales as well as we move forward in influencer marketing. Next. So the advantage of social media, right, and the game changer of social media is the fact that small businesses now can compete for less money. You don't necessarily need to have millions and millions of dollars to sell millions and millions of dollars worth of product. You could start off with a very small amount and automatically advertise, and you can do this. And if you combine this with influencers, you can piggyback on top of their audience, and for a $500 post, get exposed to 100,000, 200,000 people. That is directly your audience in which is helping you sell. So if you have a gym equipment or you have a gym membership and you get an athlete or you get a trainer to actually direct that content directly to the audience, that will be much more effective than necessarily running ads. And we're starting to see those kind of numbers exactly change. Okay, I think that's the last one. Next. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so I was about 4 or 5 out. So that includes, the last part is going to be about the positive impacts of AI, and I'm going to talk about the negative impacts of AI, and then we'll wrap up and take some questions. All right, so how was that, you guys? Was that good? So I know that was some basic stuff about social media, and now that when we went through influencer marketing, that stuff makes complete sense, right? All right, good. All right, Elena, no, okay, Joy, okay, good. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate the heart emoji. Thank you so much. All right, so positive impacts of AI. So what I believe that is where AI is going to have a positive influence, and then I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I think AI is going to have some ugly influence on. The positive aspect is I think AI is going to increase operations, right? We are seeing a tremendous amount of staff and layoffs in the tech industry here in the United States, primarily because AI is replacing a lot of the activities that are happening, right? And when we look at AI and influencer marketing, we're seeing influencers also being able to do the work of what a major ad agency would actually do. And so this is a game changer because now all of a sudden, I don't necessarily need to employ like Saatchi & Saatchi or Leo Burnett advertising. I can automatically employ, half a dozen influencers and get the same results, if not better. One of the influencers that I'm talking to tomorrow is Miss America. And any of you guys out there who want to support her, she's going for the Miss Universe contest. And I will be in South Korea in October for the contest. And she's asked me to come on to help her build her social media presence and etc. And it's interesting because she's won a title. And now that from that title, I have to basically promote her to get those brand deals and endorsements. So who, and we can add this to the question that, who would be some of the brands that would support a Miss America, right? So you definitely have, beauty products, you definitely have, the clothing, all of these things that go in there. But she's not doing it to make money. She's doing it so that she can have money to compete in the Miss Universe pageant. So in this case, it is a very, very effective. Now I'm using AI tools to automatically write the game plan, write her proposal, write her fundraising plan, I even asked AI, can you give me the history of how did every single type of Miss Universe win the competition, and give it to me by year background. So I know what actually was the significant moments that why certain people were able to win. So AI helps us increase our intelligence and our performance, and that's probably the most positive and first major impact that AI is doing. So this AI revolution is not something that you just can't just ignore. If you are on this in this Microschool and you're paying attention to everything we're saying and what Roger said yesterday, I will tell you right now, you know, God is my witness, AI is here to stay, and either you will use it or you will lead the world by using it. And those that will lead it by using it will actually be able to monetize it, and those that will follow it will be able to see efficiency and optimization in their life, you know, using this tool to become much more effective. Next. The second aspect of the positive aspect of AI, I believe, is enhanced personalization. AI will actually enable us to create a more engaging, personalized content for our data. I mean, I can't remember, just last year, I was writing copy for some clients and I didn't have any AI tools. And I can't even imagine writing that content now because, you know, it was basically my ideas, my creative, and it was based on no scientific, no factual data. AI is using the best of the best and then personalizing it so that you can actually know how to target your audience and then do it in such a way that will actually increase engagement. Now, in order for me to run that, I would have to run multiple correlations, you know, in SPSS or any statistical software to find out those relationships. But the AI is doing that for me in the background. So that's huge. There was a company that I do IR communications for, and that's helping promote the company stock. And I used AI to actually find out the influencers that automatically help promote that company stock, so that automatically I could go ahead and target them using social media advertising. So these are tactics that you have to do. Still there's the critical thinking, right? You know, underneath my turban, there's still that thinking that's happening where I'm automatically still processing. But the positive impact of being able to personalize the data and be able to target much more effectively is great. You also will see this in your LinkedIn inbox now. I don't know about you guys, but I get it every day. I'm getting like more and more personalized comments like, hey, Ravi, congratulations on your work anniversary and blah, blah, blah. And I want to contact you and get to know you. And it's an AI, you know, it's an AI generated email or message. And I couldn't figure it out because it was so personalized. And they knew about my latest press release, or they knew some individual fact about me. And I thought this person actually knew me. So it's sort of funny nowadays. I'm wondering if this is AI or if this is actually a real message or not a real message. So one of the times when I asked people, when they contact me, I said, did you use AI to write this, or is this actually something you wrote? And, you know, 90% of the time people are honest, but you could know that, you know, these guys are just doing their lead generation, writing these kind of AI personalized messages. Next. So the other aspect of AI, which I think is going to be awesome, is there's going to be fraud detection. There was about 5 years this whole notion of fake content, fake news, all this stuff. I believe AI will remove all of this. AI will definitely help us detect and identify which influencers are real and which ones are fake. And they will also ensure which ones brands are genuine, so that this is not a fake brand. It's actually a real brand with a real company, and it'll actually produce a better return on investment, which means actually a return on the monetary. So I put $1 in, I get $7 out. So that's awesome, because right now it was very difficult to check. And there is new technology. If you're not familiar with the terms KYC and KYB, KYC is called, you know, basically know your customer. KYB is know your business. And you've already started seeing it where you'll have to sometimes submit your ID or your passport or your picture, or you have to smile and show your face. These are what we call KYC and KYB technologies. These help you identify your true identity so that they know that there's a human being behind the product or service or the brand or the influencer. Next, let's talk about the negative impacts of AI. The first one is, to me, the ethical concerns. I believe very firmly we are entering an era where governments right now, as well as humanity, does not understand the impacts of how this could manipulate consumer behavior, manipulate governments' policies, and even breaches of our own data privacy issues. And I believe ethically there has to be some kind of standardizations when we can use the avatar, when we can't use it, etc. I am all in favor of freedom. I don't like government restriction. I am a big believer in from a federalist standpoint. I'm a John Locke kind of guy, and I do believe in the philosophies of Voltaire that I'll allow everyone the right to say what they want to say, irregardless of whatever they say. And so one of the things that I'm very concerned about is them implementing policies that actually restrict also, the use of AI. And I'm worried that only certain people will get access to AI. I believe that AI, in essence, is the democratization or the e-democratization for intelligence around the world. That's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Genius Group, because this intelligence revolution that we're on, and all of you joining and participate understand this, that there is an intelligence revolution. That's why you're feeding yourself more knowledge and more information, because you're not going to find this information on YouTube. You're not going to find this kind of content anywhere else. And the way Roger has structured it around the philosophy and the dynamics of core principles, rooted in ancient philosophies and techniques, this is mind-boggling. And when you combine it with AI, it takes it to a whole nother level. So I highly encourage you, to continue to take the courses at Genius Group, because I do believe that we are amidst a huge revolution, and I'm worried that some of this information is going to be kept from us. And so I think there are very few champions out there like Roger who just are open books, who are saying, yes, we want to share it because we know that this will make economic, social, political, even financial changes for people in a huge way. And this is a big factor as AI evolves, the ethical considerations, both positive and negative. But I'm worried about the negative impacts that government will try to restrict or limit certain AI tools to be made available. Right now, it's a wild, wild west. AI revolution, wild, wild west. Right now, anyone can access anything. Just keep in mind, Facebook never used to do advertising. At one time, you could email all your friends. Now, in order to communicate with your friends, you have to run ads on Facebook. So, things change, right? Things will evolve. They'll look for monetization aspects. Right now, everyone is just trying to enter and see what it is. So this is a very much of a golden era that we're entering in terms of AI. So definitely take advantage of it. The second aspect of the negative aspect of AI is that the over-dependency. What I mean by this is that we become too reliant on AI, and we make our decisions based on AI, and we're not to be creative human beings for humanity, and humanity doesn't collaborate among other people. So, one of the things that, I do constantly, is that once I got the PhD and all the degrees, I'm constantly thinking of new concepts and new thought processes, and I'm filing new patents and new ideas. And I want to make my mark. I want to contribute to humanity. So I'll tell you guys a personal story. In the last 6 months, I was in India. I was in Bangalore, and I went to go see a Vedic astrologer. And he's one of the top influencers in the world. And he actually predicted COVID-19 before it happened, on YouTube. And so I went to see him, and he's 19 years old, right? You memorized the Bhagavad Gita by heart when he was by 9 years old. Brilliant, definitely touched by God Almighty. And so when I went and saw him and talked to him, what I was interested in and understanding was what was the purpose of what I needed to do in my life and what I need to do forward. And he said, you need to continuously keep on doing these ideas. But I said, why should I do them? And okay, blah, blah, blah. He says, because humanity, these are gifts, right? When we're given intelligence, they're gifts. They're not just about making money. It's about also making an impact and your contribution to the world. And he says, Dr. Ravi, your ideas, etc., will make an impact and affect millions of lives. And so we sometimes get caught up into the Maya or into the monetary value of everything that we do. We fail to understand our purpose of our existence because we think our existence is infinite. And so I got a profound lesson and reminder again that, you know, at any time I can go. So the cruelest joke on this earth is I don't know when I'm going to go. So every day I try to make my impact, right? And so I'm trying to make my impact. That's why was my motivation for waking up at 3:30 in the morning, because all 20 of you here automatically, you know, will be able to share and gain some knowledge from this. So I want you to keep this in mind, that AI cannot give you all the answers. We still must contribute. We still must participate. We must still partake in what we're doing. Next. So the last one is content originality. AI as a whole, right, as we do this, automatically has a very interesting component, because when we generate content, we're now building content based on other people's content's ideas, and copyrights and these ownership of these contents now are being borrowed or shared, right? I can now use images that I normally maybe never was able to use, or data sets that I might not be able to do. And because of that, they will lack originality, or they potentially could lead to, you know, some kind of like basically sort of a null factor in influencer marketing as we move on. So AI, you know, that creativity aspect and content originality, we're relying on the AI to spit out the content. So I try to write something and then I ask AI to clean it up. So I'll give you an example. You go back to Copilot. I'll take a message and say, hey, listen, this is what I wrote. And before I give the content to Copilot, I'll say, you know, I even talk to Copilot. I say, Copilot, you know, could you do me a big favor and could you clean up the grammar and write this more eloquently? And then I'll put the colon and then I'll type in the content, and automatically it'll spit me out a more eloquent answer. So it's still my thoughts and my ideas, but it's shaping them in a more, you know, structural way. And then I'll say, could you maybe write this in a more confident tone, or will you write this in a more persuasive tone for me? And the AI will do that. Copilot does take into account tone analysis, which I'm very happy to see. And I'm very glad that they look at that separately. So this, I think, will have a big, profound impact on AI, the originality of content. Next one, next slide. All right, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to give you some takeaways real quickly. So those were some of the positive and negative impacts of AI. And we're now going to switch the last part of today's lecture and conversation on influencer marketing program for business. And I've just outlined what you can do. Okay. So what I want you guys to do in this next section is to think how you can actually apply everything that we've learned about in the last 1 hour plus, and see how we can actually apply it to your existing business, or to your life, or to what you're doing in your organization, or to your branding or your personal branding as you move forward. So this to me is the formula and how we move forward. And if you do all of these things, I can give you in writing that you will succeed, because they basically is the checklist of best practices. Where we fail as human beings is that we remain sometimes undisciplined, and sometimes we don't do everything, we skip steps. But if you do these step by step, you will automatically achieve the result. There's no way you cannot achieve the result, because by doing each one of these, then all remains is intensity. So I do one thing, but I don't do it with a high intensity. Maybe I do it with a greater intensity, and I'll get a better yield or a better result. So just keep in mind, just doing it is great. That's the first step. But second of all, while you pay attention to this next section, I also want to think of the intensity in which you need to do those things. And like I said, I will definitely be available to you guys, and more than happy to answer questions and guide you through them if you need more clarification as we go down the line. All right, next. So the first one is very simple. Define what your goals are, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is a very generic term. People say goals all the time, but they don't understand what they actually want to achieve, right? They don't understand what their brand awareness is. They don't understand what their lead generation is. They don't understand what their KPI is or how many sales they want to do. So you want to leverage your goals to actually tailor your influencer campaign so that you can measure what we call the KPIs or key performance indicators. So what we're trying to say is like, look, I actually have a goal that I want to sell my book to 1,000 people this week. So I'm going to go ahead and hire 2 influencers to talk about it. One that will be Trump supporters and one that will be Biden supporters. So that automatically the book is talked about from 2 different angles. So then I will look at the KPIs and see their social media posting. And if their social media posting doesn't do well, I'm going to take that content and then I'm going to run ads using that content to see if I can boost it. So that is what I'm talking about goal setting. It's not about saying, oh, I want to go, I want to achieve success. No, it's being very specific in your goal setting around the areas of the following. Whether it be brand awareness, whether it be lead generation or sales, you need to be very specific, measuring it by KPIs. Now, keep in mind that KPIs are metrics that create a measurement. So how many visitors visit my website, how many followers I have, that's a metric. Now, if I divide that by over a 24-hour period, that becomes a measurement. Now, that measurement actually then can be considered what I call a key performance indicator as I move the business. So if I plot that every day for 30 days, I can see the key performance indicator of basically my follower growth over engagement. So metrics are single variables, while measurements are a combination of those metrics, and a KPI is mapping those in the form of what we call analytics. Next is that you want to identify your audience. I can't overemphasize it. We've talked about it several times, and we can even talk about this in greater detail. But the idea of being able to know who you're targeting for is very key. So if you do not identify your audience correctly, you will not get the conversion correctly. I will tell you 99% of the time when I come into a company or I come in to help an influencer or to a brand, the biggest problem that they face that I see all the time is that they're targeting the wrong audience, right? So if I'm selling yoga mats, I'm definitely going to target, yoga studios, right? So I'm going to automatically, and I'm going to target yoga students, right? I'm not going to target Gen Z. I'm not going to target a geographical location. I'm going to target anyone that hashtags yoga or hashtags Bikram yoga or any type of yoga in there. And then I'm going to run and identify it. Once I've identified that audience, I'm going to court that, measure my ads based upon my goals, and see if I'm getting those results. Next is choose the right influencers. If you don't choose the right influencers, you're not going to get the right results. And so you need to choose them based upon 3 R's. You need to choose them on relevance, reach, and resonance. Now, relevance means is that who and what topic they're doing. Reach is how many followers doing, and the resonance is that do they actually help with your brand? Does it actually match with them, right? So I'm not going to talk to a young influencer and have her promote my brand about data. She doesn't do anything about data. But if I'm selling, again, Tiger Mom, I might find, maybe chiropractic or a physical therapist or physical therapy people, again, to actually help with the Tiger Mom, right? So these are the ways that you have to look about it. And when you partner with these people, you can then maximize the engagement, creating trust. And then this will actually lead to better engagement. Now, Roger talked about some of the platforms that are out there and et cetera, and those are great. And there's tons out there. But keep in mind that the platforms are only giving you introductions to the influencers. You still have to make contact with them. You still have to communicate with them. You have to still have a value proposition for them so they actually want to go ahead and promote your business as you do it. Sometimes it's better just to find a micro influencer and give them an opportunity, or better yet, to start an affiliate link and, like I said, share it with your other family and friends. Or you can easily sign up for the affiliate links on Amazon or Walmart, et cetera, and automatically even also promote those, as an influencer aspect. So either whether you're an influencer or a brand or a follower, keep in mind that, you know, the way you approach this is completely different. But choosing the right influencer to approach the right follower is very fundamental for any brand. Next is that you want to create compelling content. Now, AI can help with this. We talked about this today. Keep in mind that as you're moving forward and you're trying to think of how you do this, I want you to think real quickly right now, what kind of content would I want from an influencer? I would want them to say something positive. I would want them to talk about the product. I would want them to mention the URL, but you want it to be authentic. You don't want to control the content. You don't want to have them do anything. And that's something that major brands have suffered with because they like to control the influencers, and then that content never works. Let the person do it, create what we call a creative brief, give them standards so they automatically have some kind of guidelines. You know, give them the logo, give them the color, give them what they can and they cannot say, give them the official social media handles, the mentions, so that they know what they're doing. Keep in mind, you know, this is all relatively new and a lot of people don't know how to do this. So in essence, you're also teaching this Gen Z group as well on actually how they can actually create influence for you. Next is that you want to go ahead and make sure that you have some kind of affiliate marketing so that you have a URL where you can automatically reward them, compensate them, engage with them for the referrals. You want to be able to make sure that with every product or service, you have an affiliate link attached to it. Otherwise, how are you going to actually compensate them? This is by far the easiest way to go ahead and compensate an influencer, but keep in mind that there are laws that you will need contracts, NDAs, ownership of copyright. All of these things need to be included. Some of the legalese can be very complex. Sometimes the influencers have their own agreements. Sometimes you have to provide one. Again, that we can maybe do that at another session, but the legal compliance aspects are complex, but it's sometimes, like I said, you know, every country is different. I encourage you to check the rules and the regulations on that. Also check on the rules and regulations of compensation. We talked about payola. Don't forget about that. Pay to play. Just remember the example of James Brown. You don't want to be in those situations. The fines are in the millions in the United States. If you do get caught, it's $50,000 per post per day. That's the fine. Next one. Influencer marketing program for insights. This is very important. Keep in mind that if you don't keep track of the data, this is all wasted, right? You need to be able to see the growth, how you can optimize and leverage it. Insights are basically being able to know what the influencer is performing with, what they're actually doing, and the feedback to actually refine your marketing strategies. Keep in mind that 80% of social media posting is really listing and 20% is posting. Do not, remember I told you, create social media noise. We talked about that. You don't want to keep on creating. Sometimes you want the post to marinate, sort of like a nice glass of wine. You want it to age so it has more flavor, so it can breathe, so that you can get the right amount of engagement before you can go to the next level. Next. And finally, you want to promote across multiple channels. Remember that sharing content around all the platforms, there's 220 plus social media networks out there. Keep in mind that if you are just on one or two, you're missing out on audiences on the others. Another tip that I think I forgot to mention to you guys, but I would definitely do this. Pinterest is gold. It's definitely a great way to sell things. Pinterest has become more of a social e-commerce platform than any other platform. And sometimes Pinterest is sort of like untapped audiences where you can really target and find the touch points in which you can actually engage with them and potential customers. Next is that you want to make sure that while you build any kind of influencer marketing program, and as you do it, you want to build a relationship. This is not like a one-hit wonder, right? You do it, it's going to like make you millions of dollars. This takes a long tail strategy. It takes collaboration, and make sure it's authentic. Make sure it's not fake. Make sure that the influencer doesn't have fake followers. There are tools that you can run to automatically see if their audiences are fake or if the percentage. Everyone nowadays has some kind of fake audience because of bots either that hit them or or automatically targeting them. But remember that constant audience engagement is very key. So once you start your influencer marketing, don't stop it. That's the worst thing you can do, because eventually, like I said, there will be some conversion. Just remember again the Tiger Bomb example, right? I mean, eventually I have 100,000 people following me on social media. I have 10,000, I have 11,000 now on Instagram. And out of that 11,000, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people that will buy the Tiger Bomb. So it's not necessarily the quality of the content. It's also the quantity of people who are actually engaging with the quality of the content. So you have to have good content, don't get me wrong, but you also keep in mind that you're not going to get huge quantities right away. It will take some time as you refine your content. But remember the gasoline. The gasoline is ads. Ads are broken down into paid, shared, earned, and organic. So make sure you do your ad campaigns accordingly and you allocate your budgets based upon the numbers as they come in. Next. All right, great. Measuring the campaign performance, right? If you don't have a reporting system, it's something that I also do. You can go to my website, campaignguru.com. Reporting is very fundamental. Looking at reports at Google Analytics, looking at kinds of generating reports. These are crucial. If you don't know your data insights, you can't make decisions as you move forward. So one of the things that I love, at Genius Group is that Roger's very KPI centric. Where we were just looking at data today when I had a call with him before I jumped on here with you guys, and he was just showing me how he runs the business based on metrics. And that's exactly how everyone should be running their businesses, because the metrics give you an insight. It's no longer just basically your opinion, etc. So understanding the data, seeing as the data comes in, measuring that performance, what is the conversion rates, what are you getting actually return? If I spend $500 this influencer, did I sell 10 products at $50 where I automatically made another $500? Did I break even? So you have to constantly look at those as you're doing that. Ignoring that and just throwing money against the wall and hoping something sticks will never work. Next. One of the other key components as you plan your business and you move forward is optimizing and scaling. Keep in mind that optimizing for the future, optimizing your campaigns to actually leverage the existing success is key. Today you had this type of influencer, tomorrow you get a better type of influencer. Your success is actually about scalability. So the more audience that you have, the more you'll be able to scale. If you can't scale, then what happens is that you're not able to go ahead and increase your profit margins, etc. So people don't understand that running a business is not about just making money, it's also managing your cash flow. You don't want to spend too much too quickly. You want to test, then verify, test, then verify. Keep in mind what I told you about MIT. We were always taught to do a beachhead market, saturate an area first, and then go to the next level. Next. Last part of this recap is that I want to invite all of you guys to, if you guys want to secure your .influencer domain name, this is a product that I've worked on. It's called .influencer, just like you get a top-level domain name .com, .net. We just launched this last week. I encourage you guys to take a look at it. If you guys want, let me know if you're interested, and you see a domain name that's available that you like. I know there's a lot that are available. You can get like London.influencer, fitness.influencer. These are just hit the market just last week. So this is something that I'm directly involved with. So if it's something that you guys are interested in, let me know. Because you're part of the school and part of the system, I'll be more than happy to provide you guys a discount. And like I promised, next slide is that if you guys want, this is the book that I just put out on my Twitter and my AI stuff and all the stuff that I'm doing there. So feel free if you want to learn more about what I'm doing and the analysis of this. But this analyzes over 500 literary reviews of articles on Donald Trump. It's the largest academic study on his Twitter. It analyzes all these different studies and basically uses AI. And I actually put some of the tweets that I analyzed in my dissertation, simplifying it, talking about my PhD journey and all the trials and tribulations that I took for me to get that done in under 3 years to convince the academia to allow me to graduate with full honors. And last but not least is that if you guys like to reach me out there, my handle is Campaign Guru. Like I said, in my old life, I used to use political campaigns. Now I'm doing digital campaigns, and I'm very proud to be part of the Genius Group family now. And you guys can follow me on any of these platforms and reach out to me. And if there's any questions I can help answer, now that you guys are all part of the Genius family, we're glad to be able to help you guys and help you in your success. I enjoyed the more than an hour and a half plus, right? And very, very excited to work with each one of you guys as you guys explore influencer marketing. Thank you so much for your time. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
I think we should be thanking you for your time, Ravi. That was absolutely amazing. Can we give Ravi some love in the channel, please, in the chat, please? It's really funny. Yesterday, Roger shared a little video of Jensen Huang talking about AI, and it's like a train, right? And if you're watching it, it's moving really fast. If you get on, it moves really slow. I don't know about everyone else, but I feel like I just got hit by a freight train. This is all recorded. This is something that I think everyone needs to come back, watch again and again and again. I know you've opened up for questions, but I'm actually going to overrule that. We
Sure.
do have questions on Thursday. Also, I think you've just spoken nonstop for at least an hour and a half. Which, considering you started at 3:30 this morning, pretty phenomenal. So I think with all of that, we should probably let you go have breakfast because you're just hyped up on coffee, given what we've just been through. That was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, so excited to have you as part of Genius Group.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. And like I said, you guys, talk is cheap, action is priceless. So, take some of this stuff, make it work, apply it. Like I said, all of us at Genius are here to help you. We all understand the greater purpose that we're contributing to humanity. We are a intelligence revolution right now. Like I said, you can either participate or you can lead it. And we're hoping that you guys will all become leaders in it, because we think that this is a phenomenal change that's taking place in humanity, and we want everyone to be part of it. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the Q&A next time. All right?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi.
Take care. God bless.
Oh, Kawa, come join me.
Yeah, Kyron, this was really powerful and a lot of good information. And I'm gonna listen actually to the recording myself, because a lot of tips I can use what Ravi shared today. So it was great.
The problem I have with it all is Ravi was up at 3:30. It's nearly 10 p.m. not my time. How am I supposed to go to sleep now with all of that churning through my brain, right? I'm going to be up until 3 a.m. Trying to compute.
Exactly.
So I think with 13 minutes to go, there's probably no point going into breakout rooms. So I think now's probably a good time to have a little bit of an open conversation with everyone. Maybe chuck a comment into the chat, or feel free to just unmute yourself and let's have just a round table discussion around what Ravi just shared with us. As I say, that was pretty much an entire week. So that was in a micro school in itself, I think, compacted into 1.5 hours. But yeah, really good time to think. I think have an open convo. I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Nirel, your hand is hurting from all the writing. Fantastic. Was there any one thing in particular? I know it felt like he was a bullet train. I've got about 3 pages of notes myself, and that's why he's having to tell me to change the slides twice.
Yeah.
Going, hey, I'm trying to take notes here.
Yeah. I think there was there was so much, but I think there's something, so hold on. So I think there was so much, but I think there's something when he did his hands, I really love, like he did the brand, the influencer, the follower, and then kind of the way that works, then the follower then goes back to the brand. I think the influencer engages with the followers, and I think that then goes back to the brand. And I guess there was so much content, you know, really my brain is just saturated with things to ponder about influencers and their role in kind of brand awareness or company kind of exposure, and just and probably the last bit about making sure you find the right influencer for your brand and how key that is.
And I think a big part of this also is you know, Ravi talked a lot about finding the right influencer, but you're also creating your own influencer, right? You're creating an AI influencer. One of my favorite parts was talking about micro and nano influencers. I'm a millennial. I come from a generation where you want as many followers as possible, right? Yet we have seen it recently, and actually this is a value we now have within our business, that it's quality over quantity. And we actually we do very small events, maybe 20 people, but we're getting 60% conversions on a $28,000 product, which is phenomenal. So I'm excited to now start building all this into the conversations we're having at the start of the value cycle. And I think that's a lot of the conversation that's been happening today, whether it's through other influencers, whether it's through the influencers you're creating. Remember, all of this is about the conversations you're having at the start of the value cycle to almost hook people in to have a conversation with you, to have a conversation with your influencers, to then start on your journey into your product pathway, essentially. Chris, I can see you've typed, and rather than reading it, I'd rather just hear it.
Sure thing. All right. Yeah, that was one thing I found really quite fascinating, was the generational gap, what he was talking about, right? About like what he said about you know, Gen Z would prefer just to speak to an AI chatbot, particularly with customer service, versus perhaps, you know, previous generations may not, and prefer to actually talk to a human and not even want to talk to an AI. So that just really gets us thinking, right, about, well, who are we really trying to reach out to? Who's our ideal client, and what, and you know, how do they prefer to communicate? So yeah, as we're trying to include AI into our pathway and into our value cycle, is okay, well, you know, for some people it may not be the best approach, or maybe for customer service it's the best, but maybe at the front of our value cycle it may not be. Anyway, just some thoughts.
Out of interest, who here has a customer avatar of someone who's maybe 50 years plus? Few hands going up. Yeah. Okay, half the room now. That's interesting, because yeah, you might be on the money there, Chris, where a lot of those people, you might not want to be doing customer facing AI, and you might want to actually bringing a lot of it into the back to systemize what you're doing. But yeah, you might want to consider you know, how your AI is engaging with your customer. One of the things we did in our business is we deliberately go after tech literate people. We're our avatars millennials, simply because they are tech literate. And I'm happy to just completely forego anyone who's not tech literate, because it doesn't allow me to scale or create those impacts. One final person. Who do we want to hear from? Who? Rosaline.
Yes, I found what Ravi was saying about sentiment and tonality really interesting in terms of driving conversations, given that Roger was saying yesterday that conversations are more important than content. he was talking about that right at the beginning. So there's been so much content in between. I can't quite remember the details, but I think for me personally, using AI for content, I do find what Ravi was saying about the lack of originality coming in, because I've noticed it, for example, when I've been using AI for content and I've had to say, AI, that's not good enough. That's bog standard stuff. Please give me something that's different and more original. Think out of the box, because that comes through if you're using it frequently to generate content for a particular audience. It just goes out and finds generic stuff. So I thought all of that was really fascinating.
Yeah, perfect. And some of that also comes down to prep, which is what we learned in the first micro school, right?
Yeah.
We are going to move on. I know many of you are going to have lots of impact. I know many of you are going to have to watch that video again. But just to wrap up, Kawa, I think one of the notes that I've put down and put a big circle around is 80% of social media is listening, like just shut up and listen, which to be honest is probably any communication and marketing, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's big.
Perfect. Well, just to reiterate, let me pull up what we've got for your implementation. First things first, just a reminder, and I know we're going to have questions. This is your participant schedule. So remember this particular group, whatever time you're on now, you are EMEA and APAC. So we've been through Tuesday. Tomorrow is an implementation day. I know you're going to be sad you don't get to see me and Kawa. Trust me, you'll survive. We'll be back Thursday. That's our Q&A. So as you're starting to implement everything that you've learned the last couple of days, we've got the student slide decks here. If you haven't found your one yet, just come in, find your name, and your student slide deck has been created. And then any questions that pop up again on this tab, APAC EMEA, just put your name, whatever topic it is, and the question. And remember, the better the questions, but your level of question ultimately reflects your level of wealth, your level of your business, and ask better questions. Essentially, you're going to have a better business, right? I don't want to just see stuff that you could easily Google, because I'm literally just going to be Googling it live for you. Other than that, just to reiterate what it was that you're implementing in your slide deck, we have week 1. Come back to your future vision. For those of you who have done a future vision, you're just going to need to make some tweaks to it. Still go into the future. I think most of us are the same day now, 9th of July. So 9th of July, 2025. I'm so grateful for the past 12 months and say everything that is going to happen as if it has already happened. And I hope you're introducing some new metrics, some KPIs in and around your social media, you're following, the influence that you're ultimately having. There's an example of Roger's here, and then we come down to personal compass. So you are creating a personal compass for your AI avatar, your AI influencer. So coming in and really think about from scratch, what does this AI person essentially, what does this look like? What are their personalities? Who are their role models? What do they stand for? And what's really cool is Roger shared this with us yesterday, the World AI Creator Awards, and literally overnight, when I woke up this morning for the second micro school, it had already been drawn. We already had a winner, and if you come down, here are the winners. So we've got Kenza Laili from Morocco, and if we check out her Insta, they've already come in and talk about just jumping on everything so quickly. Yesterday when I went to bed, this was the last post. They've come in, they've got all the posts of her having won, literally giving her the tiara and everything there. Even how they've created, their Insta tiles, etc. But check this out, 194,000 followers for someone who's not even real. Absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? And again, it comes back. I can't read that, but do we have everyone else? Actually, this was like one of the original AI influencers. I wonder how many followers she's got. 322,000. But again, you know, when we're talking about creating a personal compass, gamer at heart, fitness lover. So again, this is the sort of the personality that you'd expect, and that started to reflect the gamer chair, everything happening in the background there. Yeah, really cool. So this is ultimately where you're going to end up. Something might not be a cool chick like this in a bikini, but whatever it is that resonates with your brand and is going to direct people ultimately to your business. And with that, we're bang on time. Kawa, final words to take us out?
Looking forward to Thursday, the questions and answer section, and yeah, and learn more and more. And like you said, like let's take our best questions for Ravi on Thursday, and yeah, and give him a challenge to answer.
Perfect, brilliant. See you all Thursday. Cheers, team.